Hey, welcome back. Good afternoon. It's 2 p.m. with the Trigger. Yes, check your watch. 2 p.m. Eastern Time. Streaming live again on many different channels to help you shine on camera, shine on stage, help amplify you and your brand. And boy, have we got a doozy for you today. It's so big, we can't contain it all here, but we'll tell you more about that in a minute because we're going to talk about the biggest, hottest buzz thing, AI. Not just AI as the GP chat that everyone's been talking about. We're going to talk about the AI of you. Yeah. Don't forget, join the conversation. The chat box is always open. Now drop in your comments, give us some love, share some emojis, whatever you would like to do to join us during our 2 p.m. time here. Jill Schiefelbein is going to be my guest today. Business communication expert, author, speaker, MC, the CXO of Render, which we're going to learn about, a synthetic media and AI researcher. She's a virtual event consultant, and I could probably go on longer, but she's backstage. She's anxiously waiting to come in here. Jill, great to see you.
Good to see you. Thanks for having me today.
So the AI and the virtual you, the reason this whole conversation today is happening because I was at the NSA winter conferences, hanging out, sitting on my booth, and behind me was this gal walking around talking about, do you want to see the virtual you? And of course, I had to go see the virtual you. She showed me a video of her, and I think there was a third of you, and I couldn't tell which was real, which was not. And that's basically what you do, right?
Yeah, I mean, at Render, we are digital likeness experts, and we help people really not only understand synthetic media and what its capabilities are, but we, work with you to produce what I call hyper-realistic avatar of you, a digital version of you that you can utilize to produce content quickly and efficiently.
So now the only way that it gave it away, and this was really true, I had to think about it. The only thing that I did not see move was about shoulders down, but the rest of you was pretty animated and really strong. So how far does this go so far? Where is the full animation, the half animation? Where are we at with that?
It's really interesting. Before I was a partner at Render and became CXO, I was actually one of the very first customers of the company and was also one that was having the most success in using this technology and leveraging it. And my belief is because of my communicative background, that expertise that lends me to figuring out these intersections of communication and technology. And the first one was very much, I was stiff. You saw my shoulders move maybe like this. A year later, not even a year later, I'd say 8 months later, I got another one, and you could start to see it shift a little more, and the head, had some animation. The third version, you can actually see shoulders going back. You can see some shifts from side to side. It looks a lot better. And this is like in a year and a half.
So this is rapidly evolving.
It is, and even more so. I mean, most of us have seen the stats that, within the last month, over like 1,000,000 different, or 1,000 different new apps were released. ChatGPT was the first thing ever to get to 1,000,000 users, blah, blah, blah. We've heard these, stats, but if you don't really understand how big that is, it's because most applications take months, years to even get to like 100,000 users. This is crazy, the evolution.
So I actually just saw, and I don't watch these daytime talk shows very often, but one of them actually showed they had a minute render of the show host interviewing a penguin. And they said, we took chat, asked some questions, they made the dialogue, it augmented the voice, the match the voice as close as they could. And within a minute, they had rendered this interview with a penguin. And the host was like, I can't believe what I'm seeing. Are we embracing this or are we afraid of this? Because his reaction was kind of all over the map.
There's mixed emotions about all of it. But my caution to people is if I started to describe to you a technology that can transform the way information is delivered, making it being able to be delivered more efficiently, more fluidly, you could think of a number of different technologies, but I could actually be talking about the ballpoint pen. And every technology that can communicate and has the potential to help us communicate can be used for good and it can be used for ill. And this has been since the beginning of time. So my approach to people is not to be afraid of this. Like, don't approach it with fear, approach it from an attitude and a curiosity of utility. Because people who are say, well, this can be used for bad, well, it's going to be. Every single technology since the history of time has been. You can't control that. What you can control is your use of it, your understanding of it, and your integration of it or not into your daily life.
So, what can we use as avatar? Because it is kind of camera frame, shoulders up, talking head. But I can think of things. But what are you guys telling people to use them for?
Well, I think before I answer that question, I want to make one key distinction, because I think this is something that needs to be demystified for a lot of people. Because when we're talking about, the avatars that we produce, and we're talking about this category of communication, it is synthetic media. It is not a deep fake. And those are two very different things.
Thank you.
So a deep fake is where, and you'll see this, I mean, there's some amazing parody deep fake accounts like Deep Face Tom Cruise on TikTok and all of the stuff, where what's happening is you actually take real video footage, intentionally shot video footage of a body, of a form doing things, and then you impose the fake face or voice or something on that video. That's one type of technology. And some of these videos that are being produced now obviously are utilizing that type of technology, which, again, no judgment on what that technology is, but that's fundamentally different from synthetic media, which is taking, in our case, a vocal clone and a video clone, and then merging them together to create an output that didn't exist in any shape or form. And now it exists synthetically. It's kind of like thinking of, real leather versus synthetic leather, right? You're not going to call a real leather that you scraped somehow vegan leather. That's not how that works. You actually have to make synthetic chemicals and things to produce something that is different. And that's the difference between synthetic media and deep fakes. So as far as synthetic media goes, they are actual productions of your likeness. And people often say, well, isn't that kind of creepy? And I said, can anyone use it? Well, no, we have tons of security measures, blah, blah, blah. But it's the same as writing an email. Anyone could technically write an email for you. It is a channel of communication. It just creeps people out a little bit because it's new and different, but it's a channel of communication that didn't exist before. And that's how we have to frame it.
So on Zoom, I just added a preview reel. It's a promotional reel, but you can put any video you want there. This would be the ideal place to literally put one of those, hi, welcome to my room. I'll be with you in just a minute. Is that the type of stuff you can do with this?
Easy. And actually, I have one in my Zoom room. And if you join me in my Zoom room ever, you'll actually see this image here, which is a hand drawing from Dr. Seuss, the first edition from Oh, the Places You'll Go.
Oh my gosh.
And I actually have that behind my avatar in the Zoom room explaining, not only welcome, clearly you're in a waiting room. I'll be with you in a minute. The real Jill will is how I phrase it. And then I also, of course, then tell the story of the picture behind me, that if I'm at home, like I am today, you'll actually see this on the wall. So it just gives some context. And I can now rotate these out with regularity because I never have to be on camera to do it. It's literally as simple as copying and pasting a script or using integrated tools like Render GPT, which is our version of ChatGPT, and pre-existing templates that we've created that help you prompt things for your avatar to say. And so, that's a simple use case. But there are so many other ones. If you are strategic about how you analyze your customer's experience lifecycle, your sales lifecycle, your employee lifecycle, whatever that may be, you analyze that process, find your communicative gaps, and find out where you've maybe had attrition in different areas in the past. And that's a clear sign that your communication needs to be augmented in some way, shape, or form. Synthetic media is one of many ways to help that augmentation.
So synthetic media, I love the word. But we're also creating a new industry, aren't we?
I don't know that it's necessarily a new industry. Really? It's content, right? It's communication, It's content, and it's still at the intersections of technology. And it's really fascinating like that. It's really about being able to use these tools and integrate them into systems and processes that already exist. Right? It's not, to me, replacing this. To me, my avatar is never going to replace me on video it is going to substitute for me on video when I can't be on video. It's going to substitute for me and my digital representation when I need to communicate. I know that's the best channel, but I'm not going to be able to do it otherwise, because getting in a studio, getting something, getting it uploaded, getting it edited, and all of that is just not possible in the time frame needed to communicate.
So we're going to come back to time in a second, but Dennis is mentioning the emails. Would this be a good solution for an email or a quick little message? Say, hey, I got your email. Get back to you soon. Or, Dennis wants something read for him. But again, would this be a good application type of thing for what we have for Render?
You could use it. I use my avatar for my out of office messages all the time, or if there's going to be a delay in communication whatsoever because of, maybe I'm on site with a client for a couple days, or maybe we're having days in studio, it's going to be much easier for me. And it's just kind of fun to put it out there and let them not only see what the company is about, but I use this in my communication strategy business that I've owned for 8 years. It's just, again, another tool to communicate in a more representative way of you, in a way that gives people more cues to understand your communication than they would other have only via text. And it's a way for people to have choice in how they consume communication. I could put it in text, I can put it in audio, and now I can also put it in video without hardly any extra work. We're talking seconds of extra work to give your audience choice in how they consume content, and that's powerful.
So I just want to share right now, for those of you playing along, I am going to share. This is the QR code. Go right to Jill's website, the company website for Render. How long does it take? You said you have templates and things. So if I were to go on, click on a template I like, get a message on, how long does that whole thing take to do?
Yeah, to get a custom digital likeness does take some time. It's a physically in-person process for 90 minutes in one of our mobile studios, or at our home studio in Burlington, Vermont. But it is a 90-minute process for us to collect the data we need to give you a very high 4K resolution representation of yourself in a digital form. Are there other things that can make you a cartoon and stuff from the comfort of your home? Absolutely, there are. But if you want the hyper-realistic version of yourself, it takes 90 minutes in person to make that happen. After that, it's about a 2-week creation process and generation. Again, video and vocal cloning are separate processes. And then once you have that and you're in the application, you submit these orders right away. And within a business day, they're delivered back to you. We do a business day still because this is new, and we are doing human QA on every output that we are giving clients because we want to make sure that that's there. But you can also, in the application, customize your background from video to video and have that stuff done for you, so you're not doing background green screen editing yourself. It's done in the application.
So right now I'm thinking of holidays, special announcements for your business, to have these different variations. Then you have them kind of banked, ready to go, and you go click, remove, click, add. Is that kind of the idea here?
Yeah, absolutely. Or also think of the technology like mail merges. And remember, like old school, you had to print address labels, like for Christmas cards, since you were saying holidays, right? And you'd go there and you'd click the merge from your database, and it would make all of these different labels for you. But think of it that way. Let's say you have a message that you want to get out. Let's say you like to send 3 meeting reminders. So it's, hello, client name. I look forward to meeting with you on insert date. Really excited to discuss a topic of insert topic. Think it's really going to be useful for you, your, insert event or insert business need or problem. And you just create a database that merges that in, so you can have these things generated. You have personalized, customized, and choice-based communication for your audience with very little effort from you. And that's where the power of operationalizing not only AI and synthetic media, but putting all these tools together in a linear strategy where it can really pay off.
So, by the way, we're just doing a short info commercial teaser right now because Jill's going to come back Wednesday night. Jill will be my guest on How to Rock the Stage Wednesday night Eastern time. And she's going to be back. We're going to go way deeper dive on this. And because Jill and I got talking at the conference, and it was very obvious, my mind blew up and I had to learn more. Does that happen very often? Do you have a lot of people that come up thinking this and they walk away with a whole different head game in their mind going on?
I think a lot of people kind of see of it now as like this kind of parlor trick, right? Because you have, it was 6 months ago or something when Lensa AI came out and everyone was updating their social media profile pictures, after they voluntarily input their photographic data into an AI system that's still being used. So note that. you know, you put it in there and we generated these pictures. I did not, but other people did, and it spread fast. So we're thinking that this is like some consumer application that all of a sudden I can just like use my phone and clone myself. And no, this is a high 4K resolution production quality solution, which is different from other things. So people often come in assuming one thing, but then being shocked at not only how realistic it is, but if they actually will spend even 5 minutes with me on potential use cases, communicative strategy, which is my jam within the company, their minds really start to think differently.
Well, that's where we're going to go more on Wednesday night. We're going to go deeper dive. Again, right now, here's the QR code again. Hit that, learn more about Render. And as we kind of wrap down our time here today on 2 p.m. live, I'm old enough to remember max headroom. Are we heading to a world of new max headroom?
You know, you could use it as a metaphor. But I really think it's more about the more we evolve with technology and the more we understand human behavior and preferences, we're now able as businesses, as organizations, as maybe solopreneurs, micro entrepreneurs, whatever it may be, to leverage tools to produce higher levels of output in the same amount of time as massive companies used to be able to. So I see it more as a leveling of the playing field in many different ways. Again, when used strategically and come at from an approach of curiosity.
I love it. Jill, thanks for the time. We look forward to having you back on Wednesday night and How to Rock the Stage. By the way, we're back every day, Monday through Friday, 2 p.m. live. We bring interesting guests like this. Sometimes there's commentary, discussions. We would love to hear you chime into the chat like you saw Dennis do and other people throughout the week. And by the way, special thanks to all my guests last week as we did National Stutter Awareness Week. I cannot tell you how many responses, questions, comments, follow-up we got out of that amazing week. So thank you for celebrating and being a part of that. That's going to do it for now. I'm the Trigger, Rich Bontrager. We'll see you back here tomorrow at 2 p.m. for 2 p.m.